Mystic, and we are live on the Industries Most Wanted
Industries
podcast.
Most Wanted.
Boom. I heard we got the homie Bizz The Prince checking in. What's going on with you, family? How you doing?
What's going on? Thanks for having me, man. I'm in the building. Jersey was popping. You already know what it is, man.
Man, straight like that. Again, thank you for being here. Appreciate you taking the time with us tonight. Go ahead and give us that like official rundown, introduction of everything you got going on.
Right now, I got a record out that's going crazy. It's called Jerseys Anthem. It's a Jersey club record. We put it out for the summer. Like right now, that seems to be the wave. Lil Uzi put his joint out. Coi Leray, Beyonce played with it a little bit. So I'm like, you know what? I've been doing the Jersey club thing for a minute. I wanted to bring it back to the core. So we put it out and it's going crazy. Like the buzz, I got dance challenges, I got all TikTok joints, you know what I mean? Like it's moving right now. So
That's really dope, man. And that's what you have to do as an artist. If you are not like signed to a major label where you got that big machine behind you, you got to think of so many different creative ways to get the music out there, to get your name out there, and it sounds like you're covering a lot of those bases, and that's really dope.
absolutely, absolutely. I feel like content is king.
Yeah.
We in the social media era, so it's not just about like just putting a song out and then that's shooting a video and that's it. You got to create content. You got other creators out there. You got dancers. You got people that make YouTubes. You got to find a way to like do some type of cross marketing and promotion with them to get your song moving.
Man, that's facts. You just said a mouthful. It's so funny because I talk to artists about that a lot in my interviews. When they come in person, we'll chop it up and stuff. And I tell them, I'm like, we're in we're in a digital era. We're in a era where you have to put that content out there. If you're in this type of industry, you cannot get away with not putting content out there. So you definitely hit the nail on the head with that one. So let's take it back. What was it like growing up in your city?
I mean, my city, I was an athlete. Me and my brothers, we played ball. We grew up in the projects. We ain't had much, but it was fun. I wasn't one of them dudes that started off rapping like really young.
Yeah.
I played ball. I got hurt, but I always dibbled and dabbed with it. You know what I mean? So once I
Yeah.
got injured playing ball, that's when I started making like a slight move over to doing music. That was
Right.
probably around like 15, 16 when I like really got in the studio.
Okay, that's dope, man. And shout out to everybody checking in. I see my homie SBZ, J Fresh Beats. He's over there on Twitch right now, tuned in because right now we're on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter live streaming. So anybody is taking the time to tap in with us tonight. Make sure you guys follow Bizz The Prince. He's got a lot going on. He's been in this business for a long time.
Yeah.
How would you say playing sports did help you though with transitioning into adulthood, being a businessman, just being a man, period?
Definitely preparation, showing up on time.
Yeah.
Playing sports, it's everything is organized. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's organized. Also dealing with coaches, when you have coaches that are hard on you, like when it translates to the social media thing, when you have like comments and people going in, you got to have tough skin. So I
Yes.
always had tough skin, because I've been an athlete my whole life. So
Absolutely. You're right. I just posted yesterday like kind of like a motivational video just talking about how not everything deserves a response, and that kind of ties into what you just said. Being in this industry, people are going to criticize you, they're going to critique you for no reason at all, and we have to be mindful. A lot of that stuff doesn't need a reaction from us, because when we react to all that negativity, all we're doing is allowing that negativity to seep into our soul. You know what I'm saying? And it really affects what we got going on. And like you said, it teaches you how to have that thick, tough skin, because we are in the industry, we absolutely have to have that.
exactly, 100%. So, I mean, most people, if you come from that type of background, whether it be sports or dance or anything organized, it'll help you, And I
Yeah.
get it, a lot of the younger artists, they might have a tougher time dealing with it because they grew up in this and all they know is social media and they don't know how to like stray away from, the bad comments and they feed into it, get into their emotions and all that.
Absolutely. Listen, the younger generation is something different. They rely on social media too much for just everything, period. Like to them, that's their end all. And it's like, again, I talk to artists and tell them, you have to be out here grinding like social media doesn't exist. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And, you've been doing this for a long time. I know you're still young, but you've been doing this for a long time. So you're probably a lot more seasoned than some of these other young artists. So let's just talk about that. How important is it for you to be out in the streets and moving around and, as they say, shaking hands and kissing babies when you're pursuing your music career?
Very important. Very important. I come from that. I come from like, if they say you nice and there's somebody on your block, on your city that's doing it and they older, you got to battle right on the spot. Like, you got to prove it. And then I also come from the mixtape era where you're on the corner and you passing out mixtapes. You got to sell your mixtapes. You got to print them up. You got to do like way before social media, And I think like that hand to hand thing, street teams. I know you know all about that. Yeah, street teams very important. So when it comes to the social media thing, like this weekend, I had a very busy weekend because it was the 50th anniversary of the hip hop. So so there was festivals and all that all around, Jersey. So I was outside meeting people, DJs, and and it's like
100%.
The internet is cool, but you still gotta like face card. Face card is very important.
Absolutely. And this is, maybe just my opinion, but I really feel like in order for an artist to build the most organic, solid fan base, they're going to do it in the streets.
Right.
People on social media come and go. Like, they're not really loyal to you. I think being in the streets, actually getting out there, meeting the people, putting on shows, like you said, on those on the spot battles, stuff like that. That's where you're going to gain your most organic fan base.
I agree. I mean, and I come from that. So I try to tell like a lot of the younger artists that I help, same thing. Just get out there. It's, having a buzz online and all that's important, but you still got to get outside in the streets.
Man, facts. Do you get out to Philly and do work out there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That leads into like part of my story. When I linked with my partner Rasun, salute to Rasun, I signed the deal with E1 and Koch. This is like 2009, 10.
Okay.
My first song I put out was with Emilio Sparks from State Property.
Nice.
So, so salute to him. And then from there, I created a real tight friendship with Freeway. Me and Freeway got like 5 or 6 joints. So we went from Philly and then Miami, and then we started traveling all around, like doing shows and stuff together.
Man, definitely salute to all the, up top artists, because it's funny. I had went to New York, a few years back. I would say probably maybe even a decade ago. And I've never in my life been tried to people trying to sell me mixtapes more than anywhere else than up there. Like they were up there. Like I would literally, I bought a couple, and then it's like you take 5 more steps and someone else is trying to sell, and I'm like, okay, I'm about to go broke buying all these mixtapes. But you can't help but respect the hustle. I've never experienced that in any other city I've been to. Going up to New York, it was, in Times Square, obviously everybody's out there, but it was just like the fact that these artists were taking advantage of the fact that they knew there's tourists everywhere and there's just people everywhere walking around and stuff. And I'm like, man, I respect that hustle. Do you think stuff like that is still beneficial, selling CDs?
Absolutely. I think because it translates to your live shows.
Yes.
Because you can have somebody that has 100K followers on Instagram, and they're not outside pushing. Well, necessarily right now, you're not going to say live CDs because they're streaming, but they're not outside. And then when they go to book a show, and then there's 15 people in the building, they're like, wait, what's going on? It's not translating.
Exactly.
And it's because it's too much emphasis on the internet and not enough outside.
Bro, I couldn't agree more. Like that's just absolute facts. And it goes back to what we were just talking about. Like your most organic fan base is going to be made offline. These people that follow you on social media, most of them are not paying to come to see your shows.
Nope.
Most of them probably don't even live in your area. So it's like, why focus on that? I guess if you're only trying to be an internet rapper, then that's cool. But you got bigger ambition that it's bigger than you, it's bigger than your city, and it's bigger than the social media.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
Man.
You got to do both.
Absolutely. So take us back to when you first started releasing music, and then fast forwarding to now. If we went back and listened to a couple of your joints early on versus what we're going to check out tonight, what are we going to hear different?
Oh, it's a lot of growth. I feel like back then I didn't really have a sound.
Yeah.
I was just rapping,
Yeah.
Just, punchlines, and I come from certain area, you know. So just putting the sound together, you know, I was like all over the place. When I first started putting music out, um, I'm influenced by a lot of different sounds, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm influenced by Wu-Tang. I'm influenced by JayZ, different things, you know, LL Cool J.
Yeah.
So like,
Oh, I'm bad.
yeah. So I didn't have a sound, so I was just working on like you know, trying to put that together, and then I linked with once I got with Fourth Disciple from Killer Army. That's when I started like really building like my name, my sound, you know, for Bizz The Prince and my fan base, you know.
Yeah, that is really dope. Yeah, let's dive in a little bit about Bizz The Prince. You know, break that down for us. What does that name mean to you?
I mean, well, the Biz that just comes from like it's a childhood name. You know how
Yeah.
like you grow up in the hood,
Yeah.
and, like everybody give you a name. You
You
know,
had a cool childhood name.
yeah. You know, it was it's funny. Busy B was my first rap name.
Okay. A lot of people probably didn't. Now, was it the letter B or like BEE?
It was it was B. It was just B.
But
And then
still,
I
it's like
found
you
that
were a busy bee.
right. And then people, you know, the OGs was like, nah, bro, you can't use that. There's an old school rapper that had that name, you know. So then
Yeah.
I got away from that, you know. But and then the Prince thing was just like in my city, you know. I played ball, I was popular, you know,
Yeah.
and it came from that, you know. So I just combined them together.
Man, that's dope. I know you said that, you know, there was some old heads that put you on game to this other older rapper. How important is it as a young artist coming up to tap in with some of these OGs who can give you wisdom or drop game on you?
I think it's very important.
Yeah.
You gotta know where you come from. It's funny because like you'll talk to a lot of these younger artists and they'll be sampling, especially up here. Like
Yeah.
in my area, like the drill sound is really big,
Yeah.
and a lot of their beats are based off of sampling older songs. And they'll be sampling songs, and they never heard the original song. They like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm like, bro, like that's 50 Cent. That's a 50 Cent record or a Tupac record. And they like, man, I ain't never heard the original song, so
Yeah.
you gotta like introduce them to it, and like do your research.
Yeah.
Give knowledge to the stuff that came before you. I think it's important because that's what I did.
100%. We have to pay homage because, you know, like you mentioned earlier on, you know, you did some festivals and stuff because we just celebrated 50 years of hip hop, you
Right.
know, which really, you know, shout out to hip hop 50 years. That's a long time, but really on a larger scale, it's really not that long in comparison to probably some of these other genres. So if somebody can't take the time to go back and do their research on, you know, the last 50 years of hip hop, maybe not everywhere, but at least in the city that you come from, like, I don't think that these artists need to be doing music if they're not willing to study who came before them and understand who paved the way, you know, in and around their area.
I agree 100%. I agree 100%.
Absolutely. So you've done some work with some Philly artists. You know, what was those experiences like? I know you probably got a good relationship with them now, like Philly Freeway and, you know, anybody else out there. What was it like, you know, tapping in with guys like that who's been in the music industry for a long time?
I learned a lot from them, especially Freeway.
Yeah.
What I first learned from Free, being in the studio with him, is that he don't write his rhymes down like JayZ. I was like,
Mm.
whoa! Like we was in the session, engineers playing the beat, so I'm in there cooking up, writing, and then I go in the booth, do my verse, and then he come in, he's like, he does this thing where he's like, and he's like, all right, I'm ready, and I'm like, but you ain't write nothing. He's like, oh no, I did, and
He
I'm
wrote
like,
it in his hand.
yeah, he's like, yo, no, I got it right here, and then he just went in the booth and I was like, wow, like that's
Man,
something different.
that's
First time
amazing to me. Yeah, like for an artist to be able to do that, like I know personally I couldn't because my brain doesn't think quick enough. I would be one of them people that have to write everything and put
I
some.
got it right. Yeah, I got
Yeah,
it right.
yeah. So that was gonna be my next question. Do you write every single song that you record and put out?
Oh yeah, I write everything. When I do my hooks, so a lot of my hooks, I'll freestyle them because like
Yes.
a lot of my hooks are melodic and they come quick. That's the first thing that comes to me. Usually when I hear a beat, I'm like,
Okay.
I want to get the concept first, so the hook would kind of come to me. So if I like even like the New Jersey Anthem, like like when I heard it, I like the melody comes to me. I get the melody like locked in my head, and then I put words to it. So sometimes I'm able to do that without actually writing it down. But my verses, I definitely write my verses.
So being an artist that writes their music, like I'm a fan of that. You know what I'm saying? Because, I feel like you can really pour your emotion into it depending on what type of music you put out. Like if you're putting out pain music or real lyrical music, I think that you need to write. Do you agree with that? That writing, kind of helps you pour that emotion out?
I agree 100% because I feel like I know a lot of the newer artists are big on that. They're like, yeah, I just freestyle. But I feel like especially if you're doing like pain music or a song that's deep or a concept, if you just go in there and freestyle, I feel like after you hear it back a few times, you're gonna be like, oh man, I could have changed that, I could have made
Yeah,
that bar better, that line better. And I just think it's more important to take your time. But like it's no rush, just take
100%.
your time with it. Sit with the record and write. And because with me, I come from that. I come from like every bar matters. I don't like filler bars. Like
Yeah.
when you listen to a lot of my songs, I try to like make every bar matter.
Man, absolutely. It's a lot of substance, and that type of music will carry on for generations, like, as they call it, timeless music, because it becomes very relatable. And I'm not knocking people who get in the studio and just go, because there's some really dope music that comes out that way. I just know I personally couldn't do it.
Nah, not at all. Not at all. Salute to them though. I
Yeah,
mean,
salute to them, most definitely. And again, talking about the 50 years of hip hop, you've been in this music industry for a while now. Over the years, as far back as you can think about hip hop and the industry as a whole, is there anything that you wish we could revert back to?
man, it's one moment. It's gonna sound. I don't know. Like when I first, what really made me fall in love? I don't know if you remember this video. Met the man on the train with the half braids, half afro. I came to bring the pain with the white
Yeah.
eye. I'm like, it was just cool to me. It was just like, like I wanted not only because he was one of my first favorite rappers. Not only did I like his rap style, but it made you like want to be like him. And
Yes.
like Rakim, when you seen Rakim, it was cool with the chains and it made you want to be like him. So I feel like
Yes.
a lot of that is like missing now. You know what I mean? Like right now, I feel like a lot of artists are just kind of like I don't know, maybe chasing a bag or maybe using hip hop as a stepping stone to do something else. And you could see the passion in those artists. Method Man, Rakim, Kane. That even Nas, like when Nas came out, it was like cool. AZ,
Yeah.
it was just like the swag. You know what I mean? Like everything was just
Absolutely.
it was
Bro,
just
I agree
dripping.
with you. I agree with you like a million percent on that, because, like I'm a OG, I'm 49. So it's like I've been around almost as long as hip hop has been around. And, I think back to like all these artists you just named. And I remember my very first concert I went to was Slick Rick, the Ghetto Boys, and a few other people. And it was such
Mm,
a dope concert. But like you said, they all had a unique style of their own, and they really genuinely, this was it for them. Like this is their passion. And a lot of these artists today, and not to throw shade but to throw shade, is a lot of them are just doing it just because they think it's the cool thing to do. And it's like,
right.
you guys are clogging up the industry, because it makes, people like myself, like, who do I deal with? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, man, there's artists like Bizz The Prince who, like, this is your passion, and you're really pursuing it. Then you got the gimmicky rappers who are just doing it just because they think it's a cool thing to do. And people like that, they need to exit the
They
building.
need to go, yeah, and not even. And I feel like what, I'm gonna throw some more names out there because as I was talking, I feel like I'm naming too many East Coast rappers. Andre 3000, like I remember when I first seen him, I'm like, this is special. Bit like out the cut,
Special.
like like you could tell they really care about what they're doing. Like you said, Ghetto Boys,
Yes.
Ice Cube with the Predator album and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Like even after NWA, it was like I don't know. I don't know what year it started making the turn, and I feel like it's a good thing because hip hop is the number one genre,
Yeah.
selling, and that's a big thing. But I don't know if it was when like people just started making so much
Social
money.
media.
Yeah, social media, and it and
Yeah.
it started getting away from that. So like you said, like now it's almost like with me, I don't even like when people be like, "Yo, you a rapper?" I'm like, because it's like
You're
everybody's a rapper
You're an
now.
artist, like, you're a
Artists,
true
right?
artist, yeah, because an artist to me is so much bigger than a rapper, you know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like, being a rapper kinda boxes you in. As an artist, you're a creator, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have an actual art form of how you do everything, and
right.
I respect that most definitely. Um, Throughout your journey of music, man, tell us, I know you've worked with some really dope artists, what's some highlights for you, outside of working with, these Philly artists?
Oh, Q Parker from 112. Yeah, that's my guy right there.
Dope.
Yeah, I did. I had a record with him called In a Minute. That was pretty big. Getting in the studio with him because it's like I don't know. I don't know if other artists can relate, but like just being in the studio with somebody and you just looking over at them and you're like, man, I grew up listening to your music. You know
Right.
what
They're
I
like
mean?
a
Like,
legend to you.
yeah, that was a great feeling. Being in the studio with somebody that I grew up with. I mean, like as a kid.
Yes.
I'm a young kid listening. And now I'm in the studio making a song with him.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that was
Let's
a
talk
big
about that
highlight.
because you've got some records with some really big artists, some legendary artists, and that also kind of comes back, I would imagine, to building relationships.
Yeah.
For any young artists out there that maybe aspire to get a feature from one of their, favorite artists or whatever, what would you tell them? Like what proper steps would you advise them? Maybe something that you did to be able to tap in with these artists that have been around for a while.
For one, you rub shoulders with the right people, like you. You know what the problem is? I feel like, and I seen a post you did earlier, and I commented on it. I feel like a lot of artists, for some reason, um, because social media is what it is now, they don't understand like promotion, marketing, advertising, um, getting that going to the right events, like
Yes.
me and son, we would go to like salute to Tony Neal core DJs. We would
Yeah.
go to core DJs, North Carolina, New Orleans, all these different events, coast to coast DJs, different mixers.
Yes.
Even if it's something where you're not performing, you're going to an
Right.
event where they're holding panels and people speaking and stuff.
Yes.
The woman from I forgot her name from down south.
Talking about Wendy Day?
Yes, yeah, you knew who I was. You knew it.
Yeah.
I met Wendy Day in like 2010. Like people like that, just bringing people. I'm going down these people and I'm meeting like I'm looking to my left. It's like, oh, that's Young Dro, that's Ti,
Yeah.
that's it. And then that's how you get in those circles. And then once you get in that environment, now it's up to you to try to, build some of these relationships with artists that might be bigger than you.
Man.
Even if you can't get to that artist, it's like, all right, that's their manager.
Right.
Take their business card, link up and keep in contact with them and do that. But you can't, it's just so hard because right now everybody just they want to go to the studio, go back home, and then stay on social media all day. And it's like, it's not really gonna do it.
That's not like I preach. I feel like a pastor sometimes. I be preaching like you guys have to get off your phones just sitting there looking at your screen all day. Get out and get active in the world, man. Like, cause you never know who you might bump into or run across or attending these events. Like you said, meeting the right people who can potentially take your career to the next level. They might hear your music and say, yo, Bizz The Prince, that guy's dope. I want to put some money behind him or I want to have him do this, but those opportunities will be missed if you're not getting out there.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. You got to get outside, man. You got to get outside, meet the right people, and
Yes.
see what you got to take. It's a risk, You got to take a risk. You got to bet on yourself.
Yes, always bet on yourself, and life is definitely about taking risks because if you don't take risks, there's no reward. And
Absolutely.
that's what it is. Are you going on tour anytime soon? Are you going to be putting like a promo tour or anything like that together?
Yeah, we're working on that right now. Right now we're just getting a record. Like we're just because it's a Jersey-based song.
Yeah.
We're just trying to get it like big out here,
Yeah.
And in New York, I was in New York last week. Iguana Studio 54. I was outside all weekend performing at outdoor events. Just getting the song out there. Because even I know, it's moving online, but I'm like, yeah, I kind of want to go outside and feel like what it is outside too,
Yes.
And for some reason, people think because they might put a post out and it gets a lot of hits, like, oh, I just dropped a TikTok or a reel, and my reel got 50,000 people, so everybody's seen it. And then you go outside and it's like
Nobody knows you.
nobody knows the song.
Like, who is that guy? I don't know.
Yeah. So,
No, you're absolutely right. Building that organic fan base and also tapping outside your city. Like I've been in this music industry for 12 years now, and I got my radio start when I was living in Florida, but it was New York. Shout out to DJ Clue and his team who gave me my shot. I spent 3 years on Desert Storm Radio, and
Oh wow.
you know what I'm saying? And that's how I got my notoriety in this radio industry is, Clue's legendary, obviously, and, having someone, but it's like, to me, it really was like a eye opener. I'm like, okay, here I am, a girl from Florida, but nobody here is giving me a chance. It took someone from New York to give me a chance. And then when I moved to Atlanta, I immediately got offered a radio position out here because they seen what I was doing. Shout out to DJ Clue. So it comes from networking and meeting people outside of your area oftentimes, because the people in your city oftentimes don't want to see you win. They got that crab in the barrel mentality.
Oh, tell me about it. I know all about that. And it's funny because the first place we went was Miami.
Yeah, there you go. See,
first place we went to Miami. I had a song called "Drop It Down," and actually that had a Jersey club mix that went viral, and it was like a really big song up here.
That's
but
dope.
Like the first place I went was Miami, and they like embraced me with open arms. I was down like DJ Nasty, he was on the radio. Yeah, see, DJ Rama. I think it's funny because I
Jack Boy Rama, that's my dog.
And it's funny because I came up with Rama when he was like he was on internet radio.
Yeah.
And then like I come back to Jersey and then he like, yo, I'm DJing for the City Girls.
City Girls,
So I was like, we all came up together, it's crazy.
That's dope. It sounds like you've definitely plugged into the right areas, the right people, because DJ Nasty and Rhymer, like those guys are legendary in their area. You know what I'm saying? So you've tapped in with the right people. But we do have one of your records that I want to check out tonight. We got people checked in, which is your the anthem, the New Jersey Anthem that we're gonna check out. For those who may not have heard it, we're gonna get into it. Before we do that, where can people follow you and keep up with you on your social media?
Just on Instagram, Bizz The Prince, BIZZ The Prince 18. Twitter, Bizz The Prince. Everywhere is just Bizz The Prince. You know what I mean? The songs on Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Amazon. It's all over the place, man. Just Google me.
Yeah, he's Googleable, you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know you got a lot of people that support you or loving on you. Who do you want to shout out to?
Oh man, shout out to everybody that supported me from day one. Even shout out to new people. There's like a lot of new fans that I'm getting from this song.
Yeah.
So salute to everybody, man. If I start naming people, I'll be here all day. I do want to give a big shout out because he was probably the realest person I met in the industry. Rest in peace, DJ K Slay. He used to have this saying. He used to tell me, like, I would always ask him for advice, like, what should I do?
Yeah.
And he would have this line. He said, Biz, show up to blow up.
There you go.
That's simple. Show up to blow up. And I was like, that's the realest thing ever. Like,
yes. It really kind of almost ties in with, if you don't believe in yourself, you can't expect anybody else. You got to walk in the building like you've already made it. Like you are the biggest superstar in there. Show up to blow up.
Yep. Act like
great piece of advice.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great advice.
And that's what you got to do. The people that are been doing this, you got to pick their brain when you have the opportunity to do it.
Oh yeah, I'll be annoying. I don't care.
I know that's right. Me too. I'm the type of person I'll ask 50 million questions, but I want to learn. It's like we got to be like sponges and absorb all that good content and knowledge and whatever else.
Absolutely.
I do have one more question before we get into this song, though. We are live, you guys, right here. You see it? Industries Most Wanted back there. Boom. We got the homie Bizz The Prince checking in. Go ahead and tell everybody what makes you the industry's most wanted.
Oh, I'm the industry's most wanted because I'm original. I got that fire, man. I'm telling you, like, Jersey, when you can't say Jersey without Bizz, man. You can't say Jersey without Bizz. You feel me? So this record right here, I did it for them. I wanted to come with an anthem, specifically for the summer, but it seems like it's going to go through the summer, through the winter, through the fall. And, we doing it big right now, man. That's
straight like that. You may have said it earlier, but I possibly didn't catch it. Did you say who produced the record?
It's a young dude. His name is Chi.
Okay.
083 Chi. He do like a bunch of drill beats. He produced for Fabio Foreign.
Oh, dope.
French Montana, a lot of the drill artists in New York. But
Yeah.
this isn't like Bronx drill, Brooklyn drill. This is like Jersey club music, Jersey drill. You know, it's a sound that we created up here. So yeah,
Most definitely.
it's a specific sound that, I mean, like, you know, when people hear it, it's funny because like Uzi first, when he came out with I Wanna Rock, people thought Philly made that sound. There was like a whole debate, like Philly people was like, nah, this our sound, and Jersey like, nah, we start, and then
Yeah.
like Baltimore was like, nah, we did Baltimore club music, which they was early too, but this is a specifically, it's a Jersey sound.
This is the Bizz The Prince sound.
There
Okay.
you go. There you go. Yeah.
There you go. I'm rocking with that. Well, go ahead and introduce the record. We're gonna check it out.
All right, this is my new single, Bizz The Prince. Is called New Jerseys Anthem, and you heard it here first, man.
Let's go.
Salute.
Salute.
The Prince. Hey yo, we started this sound, man. Jersey club, Jersey drill. I'm about to show you how to really do this. I'm on my new Jersey. I'm on my new Jersey. Yeah, let me just make this statement loud and clear. Jersey's here. Jersey's here. Jersey's here. We can look all over, but no, you'll never make that happen. We made, cause you're not from my state, so you can look all over, but no, you'll never make that happen. We made, cause you're not from my state, New Jersey, Garden State, grass cut, no garden snakes, stand tall, hard to break, real as hell, I'm far from fake, Diddy without no Harlem shake, hit on point, you started late, city lock, I'm really hot, come my way, no Fetty Wap, like Joe Button, like Tretch, like no front end, we next, we got hundreds on deck, I just want my respect, left, right, drop it down, hands up, not a sound, got it now, lock it down, I'm on my New Jersey. I'm on my New Jersey.
I hope you got a dance for this.
Oh, it's done. It's out already. That's on my TikTok.
Let me see the dance.
We made
I'm not
on stage, so you can look all over, but no, you'll never make that happen. We made, cause you're not from my state, New Jersey. Now
right here.
Slide to the back, slide to the front. Get low with it. Get low with it. Trap bounce. Trap bounce, Jersey rock. Like Joe Button, like Tretch.
I wanted a demonstration.
We got hundreds on deck.
Hey, go to that Bizz The Prince TikTok.
Right, drop it down, hands up. Not a sound, got it now, lock it down.
They gotta go to TikTok and check it out.
They gotta go to that TikTok, check it out.
Yeah, let me just make this statement loud and clear.
He said you guys gotta go to TikTok to check out the dance.
Bizz won't be doing no dance.
We made, cause you're not from my state, so you can look all over, but no, you'll never make that happen. We made, cause you're not from my state, New Jersey.
Yeah, that's a dope ass record right there. That ish is hard. I'm rocking with it. It's got a upbeat, feel good type. I could hear that in the club and everybody doing that dance. You can't give us a little piece of it?
I could say the part now, slide to the right, slide to the back, slide to the front, get low with it, get low with it, sharp bounce. But I'm not doing the dance.
Nah, it's all good. I would listen. I grew up on like those anthem type songs. I remember being in the club and doing all those like line type dances. Like whatever they were called, the Detroit Shuffle and a few other ones.
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
that's my type of vibe. I remember the whole dance floor. People would be out there doing the same little dance. You know what I'm saying? Man, it sounds like you bringing something like that back, and I love it.
That's what. Yeah, it's funny because the performance I did Saturday, they had a little like young kids out there doing the dance. It was like dancing, graffiti,
yeah,
rappers, everything. And then when I did my song, in the middle of my song, they was just like kind of looking at me, come on stage, and just turning up with me. It's like it's one of those. It's one of those. It just get people moving. Even if you heard it for the first time, you don't need to know the words, nothing. It's just I'm really big on anthems, like you
I
said.
am
Like, I'm
too.
big on anthems.
Absolutely. And it's refreshing to hear that in the club because, you know, we hear so much negative music in the club and you wonder why fights break out and people go out in the parking lot and want to fight. You know, like it's being instilled in their head. And I'm not, you know, saying that you can't make turn up music all the time, but that's like a fun kind of record. That's going to make
Right,
me just want to dance. I'm not going to want to fight nobody. I'm going to want to dance,
right.
you know?
That's what I made it for. Exactly for that. Yeah.
Love it. Well, thank you for being here tonight. Anything else you want to make sure you let everybody know about before we get up out of here?
Nah, make sure y'all go stream that. New Jersey Anthem. Make sure y'all stream that. Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Amazon. Follow me on Instagram, Bizz The Prince 18. Yeah, we it's a lot of content on there. I got, like I said, I got the dance. I got other people dancing to it. I got this thing I did called the pull up challenge, where I pulled up on people, like we was talking about earlier,
Yeah.
and I let them hear the song for the first time. I didn't let them know what type of song it was. I was just like, y'all got a new record coming out. I want you to hear it, and I'm gonna record your live reaction. And people was just like, "Oh, this is fine," you know.
That's a dope idea.
See what I'm
Artists,
saying?
you need to steal that from him.
Give me my credit, though. Give me my credit.
Nah, for real. It's the reaction videos because those
Right.
reaction videos go viral on TikTok for sure. And I'm sure probably
Absolutely.
on Instagram as well. So that's really dope, man. I love you're very innovative. And that's so important as an artist. You don't want to fit in, you want to stand out. And that's absolutely what you're doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Loving it. Well, thank you again for being here. Shout out to everybody that tuned in, checked in. We up out of here, you guys.